Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm James.
And welcome to the Cornwall Property Podcast, where every week we bring you the latest news, hot topics and guidance around the Cornwall property market.
Stay tuned to be informed, inspired and to have any of your property related questions answered by trusted local property professionals.
Hello, I'm Dan without James this week. It is me as a Lone Ranger, but for good reasons. James is not here this week because he has had the great news and delivery of his little baby girl this week. So James is at home helping get into some new routines. So again, James, very well wishes from everyone here at the Cornwall channel, and obviously we're involved with our business as well. So it's just me today, guys. So thank you again. This is episode 50 of the Cornwall Property Podcast. 50, big milestone for us. And the aim of the podcast is to inform, educate and inspire you guys to get involved with property, looking at a particular focus, obviously, on the Cornwall property market. So today's episode is going to be on market updates. So I have got 3 news topics and articles that I want to share with you guys that I think is very relevant for those interested in property, and just keeping the fingers on the pulse as much as we possibly can. Again, we're not financial advisors, we're not mortgage advisors, so always seek professional advice. But what we're trying to do is just share the knowledge and expertise that we deal with on a daily basis to help you guys make informed decisions. So without further ado, I will get started. So the first article that has caught my eye is all about the mortgage rates. So previously we've been talking about how mortgages have just gone crazy. And obviously as an investor, even as a homeowner, mortgages are so important and a big vehicle and a help in order to get on that ladder. So mortgage rates have been increasing at crazy rates throughout the last 6 months, but it's always been doom and gloom. So what we try and do is just say, look, it's not all doom and gloom. There's positives to take out of this. So one of the positives, recent positives, is how the mortgage rates have just dropped for the first time in 7 weeks. So I'll give you a little bit more information. Again, all the articles in which I will mention now, and we always mention, are always linked in the show notes. So have a look on the show notes. We'll send a link in the show notes where you can access the full article itself. So without dwelling on it too much more, but again, so the average 5-year fix is now 5.95%, 5.95% for the average 5-year fix. So there were no 5-year fix on the market not so long ago. So the fact that we've got some 5-year fix mortgage products coming back to the market is a real good thing and a good indicator that things are starting to calm down. And lenders are starting to get a bit more confident in where we are. So this 5.95% is down from the 14-year high of 6.51% last month. So it's quite a drop, actually, when you look at it that way. So it's from the average was just over 6.5%, and it's now looking at 5.9%. So this information is all coming from Moneyfacts as well. So great source. Again, the links are in the show notes. And it says that 2-year fixed rates have also decreased, with deals averaging at 6.13%, down again from the peak of 6.6%. So you're looking at a similar sort of drop in rates throughout, but a 5-year fix is always a kind of a better rate, and it's slightly less stringent on the stress tests as well. So that's normally quite a popular product. Again, what people are generally doing at the minute, I think there's still movement. I think rates will still be coming down. There are talks already that some lenders have actually got down to 5.45% as well. And what generally happens from speaking with our mortgage brokers are, once one starts to move, others then start to follow that trend. So the fact that one company has now gone down even lower at 5.45%, others are generally going to follow suit because they want to be competitive, of course. So yesterday, with that being on Wednesday this week, Santander and Barclays both also decreased their fixed rate deals by 0.3%. So again, really good signs that the mortgage lending is becoming a little bit more stable now, and people are getting a little bit more confident. So again, why have all these rates gone so silly? And it's just a little reminder that it was all down to Kwasi Kwarteng's mini budget that just sent everything spiraling out of control back in September. So about 80% of mortgages were fixed, and they are now fixed as well. So people are starting to get a bit more confident in trying to fix their rates, which is so good. And we've been drumming on that, banging that drum, I suppose. Get that fixed, because when it's fixed, you know what your rates are. We had a listener who messaged us last week that mentioned that she'd gone on to a variable rate, and there isn't actually a product available at the minute to fix for them, so they're actually losing money each month. But again, this is just evidence that sit tight, things are moving, which is great. So that's one good news story. The second article I wanted to share with you guys is all about the energy efficiency. As we know, there are targets for energy efficiency. Now, with Mr. Jeremy Hunt, he has mentioned in his recent budget that he wants to focus on boosting energy efficiencies, because this is a crucial factor when we're trying to hit the net zero target for 2050. So I have been speaking to energy assessors. So these are people that do your EPCs, the energy performance certificates. They'll do SAP, standard assessment procedures. So looking at energy efficiencies of new buildings and existing buildings. They are very skeptical of the figures that the government and the targets the government are giving. So they're saying that rental properties need to be at a C rating by the end of 2024, early 2025. And they just said, well, with the amount of money that's needed to be spent and how difficult it is actually going to be to get some of these older type of properties to get to those sort of rates, they're going to have to do some sort of a flexing of that requirement, I suppose. So the Chancellor has now set a target of reducing the country's energy consumption by 15% by 2030. And to help achieve that, he has set up a task force and will double the government's spending on energy efficiency. So they're actually looking at throwing more money at that. Now, this is something that in this article here, Property Mark's head of policy and campaigns, Timothy Douglas, has said that he also feels it is so important that energy efficiency of homes and how much of a factor that is going to play in making these energy efficient homes is going to play actually to reducing that carbon footprint. So the big issue you're going to have that he sees is that businesses are going to be massively affected as well as households. So existing funding schemes have been poorly targeted, Timothy mentioned. So this additional spending pledged by the Chancellor needs to offer real incentives by homeowners. Now, what really caught my eye about this article is the ways in which they feel that they're going to hopefully target and encourage landlords like ourselves to reduce that energy consumption and the energy efficiency improvements that they're required. So Property Mark says that the more realistic energy efficiency targets are going to be needed, and they're going to be obviously set out soon. But things that they're talking about, like maybe options for stamp duty discounts. So those that take on and improve their EPC or have a low EPC, they are suggesting that maybe they get a little benefit of a stamp duty reduction as a well done. Also, you're going to be spending a lot of money. They want to see. I think the argument here is, from my research, is that what they're saying is that if you can't get to a C, you've got to show evidence that you spent up to £10,000 in trying to get to a C, energy efficiency wise. So there may be some leeway there, but again, another interesting avenue to look at stamp duty discounts. We also know that some lenders are starting to try and encourage the reduction on your energy bills and stuff. So if you've got, for example, an EPC of a C rating, you're actually getting preferable rates now on mortgages as well. So they're really obviously trying to do make small steps, but there's a big amount of change that still needs to be done if we're going to hit anywhere near those targets that have been set out in the latest budget. And then the final article that I wanted to share is obviously about the new budget as well, but it's about capital gains tax and how that's going to affect people, particularly landlords, obviously, with this being a property podcast, and how this is going to affect their sale prices and profits, essentially. So landlords will be hit by a capital gains tax raid from next year that will see typical property investors lose £2,600 when selling a home that is increased in value. So in the recent statement, the recent budget by Jeremy Hunt, he announced that the annual exempt amount for capital gains tax will be cut from £12,300 to £6,000, and that's next year, so 2023, and it'll be halved again in just £3,000 in the following April. So again, massive drops that are going to obviously take a hit to everybody, but as we know, we're going to have to be taxed. It's a natural domino effect of all that borrowing we've done as a country. So landlords that are making more profit when they're selling their properties will pay taxed at a rate of 18% or 28% if they're a higher rate taxpayer. Capital gains tax is charged on any profit someone makes on an asset that has increased in value. So when they come to sell, for example, the profit that they've gained, they'll be taxed on that. Previously, there was an allowance that you wouldn't be taxed on £12,300 of it, but now you're going to be taxed from £6,000 only, from above £6,000 onwards. So again, there are around 2.65 million landlords in the UK, and according to the latest HMRC figures, many hold properties which have significantly risen in value, obviously, over the last few years. There's no surprises there. So the average landlord who sold their property in England and Wales, their buy-to-let has normally made them about £98,000 profit. Now, this is all according to research from Hamptons. Again, the link is in the show notes. But after deducting 10% of the costs, this would leave the average higher rate taxpayer with a capital gains bill of £21,000. So it's a big old chunk of that profit that will be lost. So these are all just elements to bear in mind. What does this mean for us? There may be more landlords trying to sell quick at the minute, trying to get out whilst they can, and just try and miss that extra tax bill. There may be some more leeway for maybe more creative purchases as well with landlords, maybe lease options and things like that. Again, we can go into that in a little more detail if anyone's got more questions on that. But again, there may be more opportunity with rates coming down with mortgages, with other stimulus that may encourage older, more tired landlords to sell up. Then I think there's some opportunities this year coming. So yeah, watch this space and just keep an eye on the market, get yourself ready and geared up. So what we normally do at this part of the show is we'll share two of our property picks of the week. So I have gone for both of these properties now, and my one is a commercial property here. So the commercial property, if you're a regular viewer / listener, you'll recognise this property. So it's the old school church road in Poole, red roof, and it's a stunning listed building. But why I've brought this one back is simply because, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, I'll explain. But I, on my laptop, have an app, and it's called Property Tracker. And the Property Tracker app, when you install it onto your Chrome search engine, what happens when you use Rightmove on this occasion here, you can see that next to the price, you have a little arrow. So what this shows me is, I know obviously we speak with the agents, we network with the agents, we get these properties sent to us quite regularly. But this one I spotted, and it actually has had a big reduction in the last week. So it was originally put on the market for £600,000, and that was in July, at the end of July, early August. And now already it has dropped an extra, it's dropped to 525. So it's a massive drop. Now, we did look at this as an opportunity as well, but it was massively overpriced. But what it tells us is obviously the vendor is motivated, they're interested, there's a deal to be done here. It's a beautiful property. So a little bit about the property, if you're interested a little bit more. So it's a Grade 2 listed former school. It's got conditional planning consent for 3 and 4 bedroom dwellings. So planning consent for 4 properties on there. So again, look at the conditions. You need to look at the conditions closely. Speak with someone, maybe a heritage surveyor or a building surveyor, or someone who works with listed buildings regularly, because they'll be able to help with steer you through this one. Again, later listed buildings do put a lot of people off, which is understandable, completely understandable. But again, it's an extra hurdle, and with that, it helps maybe look at opportunities that others aren't seeing. So again, really interesting one. Why I'm looking at it again is just that massive price reduction there. Who is this with? This is with Vickery Holman, so get in touch with them, and no doubt you'll be able to get a viewing or some more information if you're interested. But it could be a great opportunity there. The second property I've got then for you guys is a residential property. Now, this is one that I personally really like. James, I know, is a big fan of this one. And again, similarly, this was on for £500,000, and it's just been dropped again. Why is this so interesting? Why do I like it? Obviously, it's currently a commercial property, but it has residential written all over it. It's previously a residential property. You look at this property and you think it should be listed, but there's no listing on this property. But what is such a good opportunity here is that for £450,000, you've got this beautiful property on the front. So it's double fronted. And it's currently 2 commercial buildings, but you can make this one big, lovely family house. But out the back, if you look at the photos that I have here, you can see there's a large plot of land out the back as well, which is easily an opportunity here to be developed as well. So the beauty with this one is that there is actually a bit of groundwork been done already. So again, get in touch. This is on with Lillycrap Chilcot, and there's a lot of value here that could be added as well. So planning out the back is a big one. There's no onward chain. It shouldn't be too big a job on the front end on the main house, but there's a good opportunity to make some money out the back as well, and some extra homes obviously. So again, the other opportunity there to bring some houses to the market for Cornwall. And yeah, I really like it. I think it'd be a really good opportunity, and obviously there's a motivated seller there because the price has been reduced again. So guys, that is it for today's market update. So hopefully that has given you some value. That's got the taste buds going a little bit. And if you're interested in finding anything more about those properties, follow the links in the show notes, and you will find the links there, so you can actually speak with the agents too. And if you've got any other questions, please do get in touch. You can get in touch with us on Facebook, Instagram, or send us an email at hello@cornwallpropertypodcast.com. But until next week, that's a goodbye from me. Cheers.